Alright, so what is up everyone? We are going to be pretty much making a base for Pablo over here, and also Braz is just going to be vibing with us because he's very excited that it's already October. Today's October 1st, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing started right here. And so, looking at his inventory right now, he's kind of fairly brand new to the game. He's currently below level 100, and as of right now, we are just going to be looking at his stuff. I'm probably going to make something with marble and obsidian, just because I always like the combinations of those two. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just see what we can do. And yeah, for his weapons right now, it doesn't look like he has too many of the overpowered turrets, which is perfectly fine since he's brand new. He does have a lot of rare turrets, one legendary, and I think right now the main thing that we're going to be using right now are going to be shocking turrets, and when the legendary one, of course, but we just have to place the legendary one in a perfect position where it'll actually be able to do like a good amount of damage. So let's go ahead and start with some obsidian blocks right on top, and then from there we're going to go ahead and make the base of the design. From this base right here, we're going to go ahead and extend a little bit out. You guys know how I traditionally do it, so we're going to go ahead and use marble for this one, I believe, and then we'll go ahead and continue from there. Alright, so continuing on the pattern, so pretty much we have this nice little design on the bottom, and then we have this on the top. Since he doesn't exactly have any cave killers, and he doesn't really have too many of these red ones right here, which are going to be the Tesla turrets, we're going to go ahead and just expand it and put these bad boys up here. For right now, we're going to have that one right there. It's the only one that he has, the only plasma. When he gets more plasmas, potentially 4, he can put plasmas on all 4 of these ledges, but we're going to go ahead and substitute them with the mechanic turrets. So I'm going to put one on each side facing different directions. And there we go. And so from this point on, we're going to go ahead and expand upwards. So we're going to go up probably about like 5 in total. We'll go up 5. And then we'll continue expanding the build a little bit. And then in the middle, we're going to connect it so it's kind of like a little plus sign in the middle. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and just add all of our other laser turrets that we have. Any type of lasers that we have, pretty much. So it's going to include our, right here, our electric turrets, as well as our shocky turrets. And for right now, I think that's all it's going to include on this row right here. Alright, so now that we're done with the top row, this is pretty much what it's going to look like. We're going to have the majority of our shocking turrets up here. I don't have them all up there. We do have like one left over. I'll probably end up putting this one somewhere else. And then we also have 3 of these rare ones. And I'll probably put like one right here on the side just to cover it up a bit. But yeah, this is pretty much what it's going to look like right now. So this is going to be the finished product of the middle of the base. Now we're going to be working on the actual like exterior to it, not the actual outside of it, but we're gonna work more like kind of in this middle area right here and continue to build that way. So let's go ahead and see how that goes right now. All right, so now we're pretty much done with kind of the middle section of it, and so right here we're gonna have it exactly 7 blocks out, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then the 7th one is gonna be like that. It's gonna be equal on all ends, and pretty much it's gonna look like this big plus sign in the middle. And we pretty much have it under this part right here. So pretty much when this ends, the bottom begins. So for you guys that are curious about that. And right now we're going to go ahead and add some turrets. And I think for this one, we're going to go ahead and add some of our more interesting turrets. And I call them interesting because they don't really do too much damage, but they're still pretty cool, like in the dynamics of them being more like kind of decorative compared to like the last update. So we're going to probably put some supers on there. We'll definitely put some of these hydro turrets on there as well. I'm not exactly sure about the slime turret. We'll have to see about slimes. And I think mainly it's going to be these, pretty much the basics. We're going to have hydros, and we're also going to have supers. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of line them up that way. So yeah, be right back. Alright, so now pretty much this is where we're at with our build, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you guys can have an idea of what it looks like. So right here you guys can see that we have some of our turrets up here, our supers, our regular turrets, we have some flamethrower, ice turrets, slimes, and this is pretty much what the structure is going to look like. And I know what you guys are thinking, why do I have it in a straight line if the first couple waves don't find cross-finding? I'm mainly making this base with the intent that this is actually going to survive for a higher wave. Yeah, of course, wave 1 through 20, they're going to walk wherever they want, but after that, they usually follow a single file line, and I'm trying to make sure that when they follow the line, they're going to meet as much resistance as possible, because let's be honest, wave 1 through 20, it is a little bit easier once you get to the higher waves. So I'm just making this base in preparation for when he gets some more stuff and he gets more overpowered and he's able to take on the waves fairly well himself. And so now that we're done with this, I think I'm going to go ahead and add some stuff right here to the middle, just because I think it'd probably be better. And since he does have a couple of rocket turrets, I'm going to try to use those rocket turrets to my advantage as well. So let's go ahead and just start this. Alright, so now we finished kind of like the 4 little squares that we had on the side. And so pretty much we have this little spiky wall. And for you guys that don't know why that is there, mainly because we're just trying to stop the projectiles from hitting this build right here, this middle like tower right here, which has our rockets. And in my perspective, I think the rockets are always best placed if they're placed by themselves and in a high altitude, because they can pretty much reach the entire map realistically. Like these guys right here could probably reach all the way over there without even like giving it a second thought. But yeah, this is what we have. We're gonna have 4 of these, and we're gonna go ahead and continue. And this time we're just gonna work on this out portion right here, this outside portion. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and use I'm gonna definitely use our rare turrets here. Unfortunately, we don't have enough, so I'm gonna have to try to figure out what else we're gonna use for it. But we're gonna use our rare turrets, and then we're gonna try to use our cannons as well, our regular better cannons and the regular cannon. I know they're pretty weak, but it's always good to have like multiple on the field, because why not? Better to be safe than sorry. So let's go ahead and start this. And so just gonna go ahead and give you guys a little bit of what I'm doing here. So this is pretty much what the outside of it's gonna look like, and we're gonna add a couple of turrets. So we're gonna add betters. We're gonna add the mechanical, I believe they're called, and then just the regular cannon turrets. So yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and just show you the structure, and then once we're pretty much done with the structure here, I'll just go ahead and move on to the next objective that we're gonna be trying to do right now. I'm gonna put these here so you guys could have an idea of how they're structured. I know some people have told me that they wanted a little bit more help on like the outskirts of their base, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give you guys like a good example of what it's gonna look like. I would rather you guys see it here, so it's a little bit more easier for you guys to understand. And so this is it right here. This is what the outskirts is going to look like. It's nothing too fancy at all, but we are putting our weaker turrets out here because technically they are weaker, but they could still take a couple volleys or projectiles. So we just want to make sure that the middle of the base is going to be nice, safe, and secure. And so let's go ahead and just continue on with finishing all 4 sides. Alright, so pretty much we finished all 4 sides now, and this is pretty much going to be the build. Of course, I might add a couple more things to it, such as some booby traps. And I don't know if you guys know how to do booby traps or not, but I do use booby traps when I do my high wave attempts for the new wave system. Sometimes they do help, sometimes they don't. But I'm gonna go ahead and just make a couple more booby traps here so you guys have an understanding of what they are. So pretty much this is exactly what it is. It's not really too much of a big trap, but this is how you pretty much structure them. For example, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you guys a little idea of how they are. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave that open right there, so then it falls straight down, because we want it to fall straight down. And the reason we want it to fall straight down is so then it'll automatically like trap anything trying to walk towards it. And once it falls down, it's gonna be met with like a little spike trap. So once you start the wave, this entire thing will fall down, and then it'll be like spikes on the floor. Usually people would put it on the floor, but I think it's a lot more cooler just to watch them fall, in my opinion. So that's pretty much like why I do it. So this is like one of the traps, and I'm probably gonna add this on all 4 sides, and then I might add some more. Not really sure though, but yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it. And I think to the ends of these 2, I'm gonna add some more trap stuff. Like right here, I'll go ahead and add a couple, just so then these guys could throw a couple of spikes down, and hopefully something will step on them. Just don't know yet. But yeah, this is pretty much what it's going to look like at the end, and then we're going to go ahead and just start it up just to see how far we can get. Alright, so as of right now, we have just finished the base. I think this is pretty much going to be... It'll be like a final product. I won't say it's going to be final, because later on he will get more stuff, and then eventually he will be able to upgrade it a little bit more advancedly. But for right now, I think this is what we're going to be using for the base. And I think we're going to go ahead and start like in a few. Realistically, but once again, I just want to go ahead and just tell you why the space design is structured like this once again, so you guys have an understanding. I know you guys are probably like, why don't you build walls around it? I've had some comments like that before, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just try to explain it to you. So the reason I don't build walls is because sometimes zombies throw projectiles, and due to that, the structures could fall. So we're trying to keep this up in the air as much as possible, as well as connecting this to these all 8 of these little like walkways, I guess you could say. And the reason why we haven't connected is because if in the case that they're able to destroy like this row right here, the base will fall. So I'm just trying to make sure that it stays up as long as possible. We have our stronger turrets in the middle, just because it's a little bit more effective that way, as well as having some of our weaker turrets on the outside in the outskirts. I know the electric turrets aren't that really that weak, or the mechanic turrets, I apologize about that, aren't really that weak, but I have them out there just in case if we have some stronger zombies that have armor on. I just want them to get a little bit knocked out, because once the armor starts walking through, it'll be a little bit more problematic. But yeah, that's pretty much why we have it. And then once again, we're gonna have them walking down here on the higher waves, walking in a single file line, and later on towards the higher waves, that's when you're gonna pretty much see them, you know. And then the lower waves, they're pretty much not gonna have a cross or pathfinding, I should say. And so realistically, the turrets, such as the rocket turrets, should defeat anything between 1 through wave 20. So that's pretty much why we have the structure like that. But yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and start it, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Alright, so now I pretty much told them we're gonna start at wave 1, because I just want to go ahead and see how exactly this works out. I just want to make sure everything's working out fine. And as you guys can see over here, our little traps that we made right here have fallen down, and once again, as I did say, they were gonna go start walking to the middle or wherever they want to, because they don't have cross pathfinding. And so far it looks like the base is actually doing well, and I'm gonna go ahead and support the base. Pretty much this is a base that pretty much a player needs to support. I'm not saying that it's a weak base, but players do have to support it in case there's ballistas or witch houses, because they do destroy turrets pretty quickly, and we do have a lot of turrets on the ground floor. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wait until the end when we're about to die, and I'll go ahead and show that. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Thought I would just talk about this a little bit. So this base has actually made it to wave 100 with player support. Let's actually see if these guys are able to even hit this thing. Okay, here comes the boss zombie. But yeah, pretty much with player support, we've been able to repel the waves. And I'm gonna be honest with you, my wave prediction for this was wave 80, wave 90 with player support, you know. But now we're at wave 100, and we might actually be able to pass wave 100, which is kind of interesting. We're gonna see right now. Yep, he's stuck on the spikes right there. Kind of figured. Okay, we're gonna push him right towards the spikes. Perfect. Let's go ahead and make a little barbecue here out of him. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty weak base. And I don't want to say it's weak, but like for the types of turrets that it has, you know, like definitely these aren't the strongest turrets. Some of these are considered some of the weakest. The stronger turrets are definitely in the middle right here, like this plasma turret, this mechanical turret, and all these turrets up here. But like, I would have thought after a while this would have got like destroyed completely, but it seems like it's still going. I mean, yeah, we have like a big chunk over here missing. The ones out here are semi missing, but like wave 101 right now, wave 101, that's actually pretty interesting with player support. We've only had 2 players too this entire gameplay. So yeah, I just thought I'd just cut in and just tell you guys about it, and then yeah, I'll go ahead and keep you guys updated when we get close to dying. I don't know if we're gonna get that close. We're still at 100 health for the flag. We'll see what happens. Let's find out. Alright, so as of right now, we're finally on the Tesla boss, and our flag only took like maybe 5 damage, to be honest with you. And I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys this. This is like a great like example of when I tell people that sometimes the most overpowered turrets aren't exactly as strong as you think, you know? Because you would think of the weaker turrets and you're like, damn, they're really weak, but if we're able to make a base to get this far out, it's pretty rad. And I want to say right here, we just lost, but I was gonna go ahead and tell you guys when we lost anyway. So this is what we have. This is pretty much our record right here, 110. But back to what I was saying, right? Like if some players are like, we don't have killer turrets, it's impossible for us to get to the higher waves, and I think this is a good example of it's not impossible, you know? Like, yeah, we probably could have done some different things here, but to be honest, he doesn't have any shield generators either, so you have to keep that into account. And I just think it's so crazy. Like, we see so much destruction right here, right? But at the same time, like, we made it to 110 with these just common turrets. We only have 1 plasma turret. And even at that, the plasma turret wasn't even shooting like the entire time, like in the beginning until like probably like wave 60 it started shooting, you know? But this is a good example of having right strategy. And I try to emphasize this every time I talk to people. Like, always make sure that you have your turrets appropriately where they're supposed to be. Like, for example, you always want your rocket turrets right here to be as high as you can. Any turrets that can't shoot that far, or any turrets that are considerably weak, put them closer to the ground floor like these, for example. Like, these are pretty weak right here, so they're on the ground floor. Oh, he just cleared it. And then, well, he's gonna reload it again, I think. And, yeah, just going ahead and show you guys, like, the weaker turrets are usually on the bottom, and I know these are up here are weak too, but they still do, like, a considerable amount of damage as well. So I just think, out of everything, to get to 110 at his level, he's below level 100. And yeah, we did support a little bit. I did help him out, and it was 2 players going against zombie hordes. But realistically, this base surpassed my expectations, and I guess you could say part of the reason why is because of how we strategize. I'm sorry. Where to place the turrets exactly. Like, for example, you have your weaker turrets outside, but you have some stronger turrets as well. And you guys weren't here to see it, but this actually stopped a couple of the bosses. Like, these corner stuff stopped a couple of the bosses until, like, probably wave 80 kind of, like, failed. But yeah, realistically, just if you place your turrets in a perfect position for them to do the most and optimal damage that they can, that's pretty much it. And yeah, I know we had some other people that joined in mid game, and they were like, yeah, it's not gonna make it past 60, not gonna make it past 70. I personally didn't think it was gonna make it past 80 or 90, but we made it to 110, 20 over my expectations, so that's just wonderful. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and sub if you guys want to continue to keep up with the content. And go ahead and just drop a comment if you guys want to go ahead and just try to help me out with some more ideas, or you guys want to see some other cool base designs. Thank you guys once again so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And I think I'm about to go to bed because I pretty much pulled an all-nighter. Take care, everyone. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.